Let's talk God. Now, before we get into it, I don't want to have this be a conversion story. I'm not going to pitch you on any specific religion. I don't believe in any specific God, so this video is not going to be a pitch on Allah or Vishnu or anyone like that. Ram, not Vishnu. Instead, I just want to tell my story and how God is in my life, how I work with the Lord, and how I am able to pray, how I do it. Because if you tap into this holy power, you can get whatever you want. I'll give you an example. Recently, we have something that I can't announce in our personal life that required us to pay $8,000. Now, I have more than $8,000 in savings. I could easily tap into it. But for me, savings are completely locked away. I don't like to touch savings. I only like to spend new money if we can. And so I prayed to God. I was like, God, we need money for this. How are we going to find this? And lo and behold, in my inbox, no joke, in my inbox that day was an email from a sponsor that wanted to pay me to make YouTube videos for them. And so I responded that I wanted $9,000 for a couple videos. And they got back instantly, not just with the agreement, but asking for wire details. They made the payment and we had enough money to fund this. A similar thing happened a couple of years ago when I needed a business idea. And I knew I was getting stuck in the agency model of waking up and having clients yell at you every morning and just being super annoyed. I was stuck in that agency model. And so I walked around Las Vegas. I put my phone away and I prayed. I was like, Lord, what are we going to do? How are we going to turn this around? How do we actually make enough money to survive so we're not clawing for cash every second and making these short-term decisions? And like a whisper in the wind, I got one message. And it was SaaS, start a software business. I'm not saying God spoke to me and said that. Maybe I saw it on a sign. I don't actually remember how I got that message, but I got that from God. And that month, I started working on software companies. We ended up doing Lead Shark, which sold for over 100K. We ended up working on Taplio Tweet Hunter, which ended up selling for multiple millions of dollars. And we're working on Omni. We've got other SaaSes in the works. And it's been very fruitful. But that's not the only way that I use prayer. There's two things that you can do. One is asking for guidance. Hey, I need something, and how do I get it? And the Lord will help you figure out how to get that, like how I knew I needed to work on SaaS. But the biggest thing that worked for me is asking God to make it easier. A couple of years ago, I decided that I wanted to get married. I wanted a wife. I wanted kids. I wanted to start a family so bad. I was even looking at IVF. I was like, oh, can a single guy even start a family? How much money do I have to spend on that? And I realized, maybe God told me this, I don't know, but I realized that's crazy. Before I spend a couple $100,000 on making a baby as a single man, I might as well go out there and try to start a family the traditional way. And I got on dating apps and I optimized my Tinder profile and my Bumble profile, and I was swiping every day. I had my alarm for 8 p.m., which is optimal swipe time. And I was going through, sending messages, booking dates, doing all this stuff, but it was still very hard. And so I prayed to God, God, make it easier. I know you want me to start a family. That's the main driver of all world religions, to breed, to go forth and prosper, all that sort of stuff. Why is it so difficult? Please make it easier. And that day, I realized I needed to improve the photos on my Tinder profile. And so I hired a camera person to take more professional photos, and we improved the profile. Then the swipes were a little easier, but the conversations weren't really happening. So I prayed to God again. I was like, God, conversations aren't happening. Can you make this easier for me? And all of a sudden, what was so hard to do with the flirting came easy. Like the girls that were attracted to me are actually into me, and I didn't have to try it all. I'm happily married now, by the way. I don't want to spoil that yet. Then came actually talking to these women, because for a very long time, me, like a lot of other men, are traumatized by women. I don't know if it happens because girls in middle school are so mean and it throws us off for the rest of our life, or we're just scared of what's going to happen when we talk to women. But for me specifically, I had such a hard time approaching women, especially in public spaces. And it was terrifying to me for a very long time. And that held me back from getting dates. And then I prayed again. I'm like, God, can you make it easier for me? How do I attract these women? It's not going to be on Tinder because the girls on Tinder aren't the highest quality women. You and I both know this. So how do I do this? Can you make it easier for me? And the next day, I was in an airport going from one city to another. And all of a sudden, I could notice that women were looking at me, staring at me, almost beckoning me to come up and approach them. But I was still too scared. I'm not going to do it, right? I was still too frightened to do it. So I prayed again. I'm like, Lord, you're trying your best. You're making it easy. They're even looking. They're begging me to come over. I can see it, but I'm not going to do it. So can you make it even easier somehow? This was during a series of moves, right? I'm a digital nomad. I'm traveling all the time. And then I was back at the airport, traveling again. And I'm waiting in line. There's this girl that I thought was cute. And normally she would have just looked at me and then went her way. But she actually turned around. She said, "Hey, did you know you have a very interesting face?" And literally started a conversation with me. I prayed to God to make it easier, and he did. Fast forward a few months from then, and I'm going on dates like crazy. I meet the love of my life, my beautiful wife, and we end up getting married. And now, ... I can't reveal what comes next until several months from now. But things are going very well, all because I prayed. So I'm not sitting here and telling you that you need to believe in Jesus or you need to believe in Ra, the Egyptian god, and all that stuff that comes with it. I'm just saying, if you sit quietly and you ask God for help, you'll be surprised at the help that you get, especially when you ask for ease. God, make this easy for me, and he will. And he'll make it easy, and he'll make it easier and easier the more you ask. It was the same with SaaS. So I was walking around Las Vegas. God told me to get into SaaS because I was praying, I need to make money, I need to make money. Software as a service was what I needed. So we started LeadShark, and we spent $70K on LeadShark. It didn't seem like it was going anywhere. It took so long to build. And I realized as my life was falling apart that this wasn't going to work. LeadShark wasn't going to be as profitable as we wanted. It wasn't going to do it for us. And so I prayed again. I'm like, God, can you make this easier for me? How do we do this? I know you want me to succeed. Why is it so hard? How do we make it easier? And again, very soon after, I saw Tweet Hunter and their founders talking on Twitter all the time about how great Tweet Hunter was. Oh, it's blowing up. This is so good. And I was watching it happen. I became a Tweet Hunter customer. I started talking to Thibaut. And as I was praying, we got the deal to work with them on the next startup, which became Taplio, which was then fused to become Taplio Tweet Hunter and sold for $2 million. And it all felt so easy. We'd promote the startup and people would actually sign up. We would do email promotions and people would pay us. We'd raise the price and people would pay the new price. We'd launch on Product Hunt and we'd get to #1. Compare that to how it was before I was praying for ease. And we'd launch on Product Hunt and not even get in the top 10. Or we'd promote a startup for months and not get any signups. Even though we have the exact same platform, I still had the YouTube channel. I still had the Twitter. I still had the same email list. And yet, once we prayed for ease, it became easy. And that's my theory on God. God wants you to talk to him and to ask him for things, and he'll deliver it. God doesn't want you to avoid him or pretend he doesn't exist. So by playing that game, by talking to God, you start getting what you want, as long as what you want is good. I wanted money to provide for my family. I wanted a family to fulfill the holy mission of spreading your seed, right? All humans want children. And so if you pray for those things that are necessary for humanity and for thriving, then you'll get them. That's my mission to you for the day. Turn off your phone, sit down quietly, close your eyes, and ask God for what you want. Then ask him to please make it easy. That's all you need to do. It takes 30 seconds. You can do it right after this video. Then leave a comment down below. Tell me what you asked for and tell me how it went. If you want more content like this, let me know as well. Smash that like button for more. Subscribe for more videos like this. We talk about health and love and wealth and motivation and cold email and basically everything around business and success on this channel. So subscribe if you want more about that. And I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. I'm Alex Berman.